We look up at the moon almost every night. It's so familiar. But what if I told you it's hiding secrets that could not only rewrite its own history, but could totally transform our future right here on Earth? Well, let's get into it, because China's latest missions to the far side of the moon have stumbled upon something absolutely extraordinary. So that's the big question, right? What did China actually find over there on the far side? The side we can never see, where no one has ever set foot. The answer is, well, it's a lot more complicated, and frankly, a lot more interesting than you might think. The story really kicks off with this really strange image that just took the internet by storm. But here's the thing, that first mystery, this weird cube, it was basically a distraction from the real discovery. And that discovery is something that could, and I mean this literally, power our entire planet. Okay, so let's start with that image that had everyone talking. A few years back, China's U-22 rover was doing its thing, just rolling around exploring a place we have never seen up close, the far side of the moon. And then, its camera spotted something odd. And there it was, just sitting on the horizon, this sharp, almost perfectly cube-shaped object that stood out against the gray, dusty landscape. From the rover's point of view, it didn't look natural at all. It looked like a structure. And the fact that it was on the far side, the side that's permanently hidden from us, made it all the more mysterious. The second that picture went public, the internet just exploded. Was it an alien base, a secret bunker left by some earlier civilization? I mean, you name the theory, someone was talking about it. It was this perfect little moon mystery. But to really get why China's mission is such a game changer, we first have to take a quick look at the story we thought we knew about how the moon was born. See, for more than 50 years, we've had a pretty solid, widely accepted story about where the moon came from. And this is so important because what China found doesn't just add to the story, it might force us to tear the whole thing up and start again. This right here is the theory you'll find in every textbook. It's called the giant impact hypothesis. The idea goes that billions of years ago, when the Earth was just a baby, a planet about the size of Mars, which scientists call Theia, slammed right into us. The collision was so massive it blew a giant chunk of Earth's molten guts into space, and that debris eventually clumped together to become our moon. So, in a nutshell, we've always believed the moon is a piece of the Earth. And, for decades, this theory seemed rock solid. When the Apollo astronauts brought back moon rocks in the 60s and 70s, their chemical makeup was a near-perfect match for rocks here on Earth. So scientists were pretty confident in dating the moon at about 4.5 billion years old, the same age as our planet. It was a nice, tidy story that explained everything, until now. Now here's the catch. The Apollo missions only ever landed on the near side of the moon, the face we see all the time. China, on the other hand, decided to go for the ultimate challenge, the far side, a place that's way more mysterious and a whole lot harder to get to. And their missions, named Chang'e, were just incredible. In 2019, Chang'e 4 made history as the very first spacecraft to land safely on the far side. Its rover started exploring this huge, ancient crater called the South Pole Aten Basin. And then, the next mission, Chang'e 5, did something even more amazing. It actually scooped up soil and rocks and brought them all the way back to Earth. And this is the moment where that nice, tidy story we had just starts to completely unravel. Because when scientists got these first-ever samples from the far side into their labs, the results were not at all what they were expecting. Just look at this breakdown. It's a total contradiction. The Apollo rocks from the near side were ancient, clocking in at around 4.5 billion years old. But some of these new rocks from the far side were way, way younger, some as young as 2.8 billion years old. That is a huge difference. And it wasn't just the age. Their makeup was different too. They were heavier, darker, and had this weirdly sticky, almost tar-like quality. That suggests they formed in a totally different way. So what does this all mean? Well, the implications are just profound. If different parts of the moon have such wildly different ages and compositions, it throws a huge wrench in the whole giant impact theory. Maybe the moon wasn't formed in one single event. Maybe its history is way more complicated than we ever imagined. It's like finding out two sides of the same coin have completely different stories. Which, of course, brings us back to that mysterious cube. While the whole world was online debating alien architecture, the scientists were focused on the real prize, the data and samples from the Chang'e missions. So what was the cube? Well, as the U-22 rover slowly got closer, the big mystery just fizzled out. It was a rock. Just a plain old rock. Its bizarre shape was just an optical illusion. You know how old video game graphics look all blocky? It's kind of like that. The rover's low-res camera was trying to process a fuzzy shape from really far away and basically pixelated it into a cube. So the alien base was a bust. But the real discovery was right under the rover's wheels the whole time. Yeah, while everyone was looking at the horizon, the real treasure turned out to be microscopic, locked away inside the lunar soil. China had found a brand new mineral, which they named Change Site Y, and sealed inside that mineral was something that could genuinely, fundamentally change life on Earth. That something is called Helium-3. It's a special type of helium that's incredibly rare here on Earth. But for scientists, it's basically the holy grail of clean energy. Why? Because it is the perfect fuel for nuclear fusion, which is the very same process that powers the sun. I mean, think about it like this. Our nuclear plants today work by fission, that's splitting atoms apart, which creates all that nasty radioactive waste. Fusion with helium-3 is the complete opposite. You're fusing atoms together. And the result? Clean, powerful energy with absolutely no radioactive junk left over. We're talking about the dream. Virtually limitless, perfectly clean power for the entire planet. And just like that, the game has changed. Suddenly, the moon isn't just a cool place to visit to plant a flag. The discovery of Helium-3 has turned it into a massively valuable strategic resource, and it has kicked off a brand new kind of space race. Here's exactly why the moon is the new prize. Earth's magnetic field is great for us. It protects us from solar wind, but it also blocks Helium-3 from ever really reaching us. The moon, on the other hand, has no atmosphere and no magnetic field. So for billions of years, it's just been sitting there soaking up helium-3 from the sun like a giant sponge. Here on Earth, the supply is practically zero. On the moon, it's everywhere. And make no mistake, as you can see from this timeline, China is not just poking around. They have a clear, fast-moving plan. After their successful landings and bringing samples home, they're planning to start building a lunar base by 2028 and want to land their own astronauts there by 2030. This isn't just about scientific curiosity anymore. This is about building strategic infrastructure. And just to put their speed into perspective, look at this. China brought back its lunar samples way back in 2020. By comparison, another major space power like India is aiming to do its first similar mission in 2028. That just shows you what a significant head start China already has in this new race for resources. So, a story that started with a weird photo of a cube has ended up revealing a massive shift in how we see the moon. It's not just a beautiful light in the sky anymore. It's a potential energy source that could change everything. And that leaves us with one heck of a question. As this new lunar gold rush gets underway, who gets to decide the rules? And what is that going to mean for the future of all of us, right here on Earth?